Today, we're going to the newly rebuilt Advanced Plating. The Nashville flood nearly wiped them out, but now they're back, better than ever. And we're taking the Grille to our Project Class 6 to get a unique and budget-friendly copper-plated finish. It's all today here on Trucks.
Hey guys, welcome to Trucks. Well, today we're back up here at Advanced Plating in Nashville, Tennessee. And it probably looks the same as it did every other time we've been here. But back in May of 2010, well, the Middle Tennessee area got hit with well over a foot of rain in a single 24-hour period, putting the Cumberland River 12 feet over flood stage. And if I was here then, well, I'd be underwater and I'd be swimming.
But today, everything once again is dry and gleaming like jewelry. You can even smell the new paint. Advanced Plating is back, bigger and better than ever. But it wasn't long ago that I would have been standing chest deep in water, and everything in this entire facility was covered with this funk, this muck from the Cumberland River. It wasn't pretty. These rising waters are the result of a flood that was supposed to happen only once every 500 years. Damage estimates to the Nashville area have exceeded $2 billion in property damage. The whole Nashville area community was stricken by a tragedy of huge proportions. Now, as bad as it looks in these photos, the truth is this was after the floodwaters had already started to recede. But the actions that owner Steve Tracy took the day of the flood are nothing short of inspirational.
Well, to get here, I swam across the parking lot, and then to get out, I was rescued by boat. There was never a doubt in my mind what I was going to do from the minute I got on the boat, and that was just basically do a restoration of a different type here.
So Steve and his helpful crew rolled up their sleeves and got started on an extreme chrome makeover. So Advanced Plating did their own version of a frame-off restoration, not only repairing the damage from the floodwaters, but also taking the opportunity to make improvements where they deemed they were necessary.
I had quite a few people that came from out of state, some people that we knew, some that we didn't, and various amount of car builders that had come, and a lot of industry people that came, and they all pitched in. Some of them rescued the cars, some of them helped with the renovation, a lot of moral support, a lot of encouragement, all of it very important. Very lucky, very blessed.
Now, the truly remarkable thing here is that not a drop, not a single drop of any of these chemicals was spilled into the Cumberland River. As a matter of fact, there were only 2 tanks that needed any kind of repair or replacement. Now, there wasn't just outside help involved. Steve's employees worked in shifts around the clock and really dug in to help improve things and get the facility back up and running. Now, the buffing shop is where the artisan craftsmanship happens, and it was also one of the areas that got hit the hardest. All of the electronics in each workstation, including electric motors, had to be completely replaced, but it didn't stop there. The buffing wheels play a critical role in the polishing and plating process, but these didn't stand a chance against Mother Nature. Now, this is something that's not new, but we've never shown you this room before. That's because it's been greatly improved due to the effects of the flood. This is a room that's temperature controlled to 100 degrees and no humidity, specifically for the purpose of curing the buffing pads. Now, Advanced Plating lost nearly 50 years' supply of buffing pads for the big wheels. And again, it was a tragic loss, but it gave them the excuse to take some time and improve the situation. And this room is, well, it's perfect for its purpose, but hot.
And as big of an impact as Mother Nature had on the shop, well, they took the opportunity to reduce their own by installing new air filtration systems and added ventilation throughout the building. Now, rightfully or not, the chrome plating industry has kind of acquired a reputation of being not so environmentally friendly. But advanced plating has always been ahead of the curve. Now this is the recycling room, where all the chemicals get processed, neutralized, and treated. They go through these 4 drums and ultimately end up in this giant container here, where the liquid passes over 500 feet of grading that's stacked up inside that container. The clean wastewater is separated from the solid, which gets filtered out. They end up over here. This green-colored electroplating byproduct is kind of indicative of how they operate here at Advanced Plating. Very green. None of this stuff ends up in a landfill. Never has. In fact, this stuff here is going to get shipped off. The metal is going to be reclaimed and used in the zinc die casting process.
Now, one of the last steps in getting the facility back up and running involved replacing some of the equipment necessary to handle the huge amounts of current that are required for electroplating.
Last critical piece was to replace our rectifiers that allowed us to get our use and occupancy permit. So as of yesterday, we are 100%.
Up next, a copper-only chrome job not only looks cool, it's the right price.
Hey guys, welcome back to Trucks, and welcome back to the newly restored Advanced Plating.
Now, Steve and the rest of his crew have done a fantastic job at getting Advanced Plating back up and running and in a big way, which is a really good thing because we needed some more stuff plated. But instead of going the typical restoration quality chroming process that they usually do here at the facility, we're going to take a little more budget-minded approach and a theme that's going to follow right in line with our patina 49 Chevy Project Class 6. And it all starts with this replacement grille that we picked up at Chevs of the 40s. Now, this is a budget approach that we're taking to a cool-looking plating project. And anything that you can do at home, like disassemble the grille, well, it'll save you money. Whether the parts are painted or e-coated like our grille, they sit in a vat of methylene chloride for about 30 minutes to completely remove any finish. But this is one more way that you can save money at home. You can strip with a simple aircraft stripper that's available at almost any auto parts store and send them to them bare. Now, you're going to see us do a series of clean water rinses after the acid process. It serves the same general purpose, which is to neutralize the acid from the previous step and get it ready, set it up for the next step.
Then our grill parts sit in a soap cleaner and activator tank for about 5 minutes. Now the brushing just helps remove any fingerprints or residue and really drives the solution down into the pores of the metal, making sure the parts are ready for the next step. I feel like a mad scientist. Kind of cool. And just like in between every step in this process, we take our parts to a rinse tank or a quick dunk in water.
Next, our parts go in a mild alkaline acid etch tank for about a minute. This sets up the surface or profiles the metal, creating porosity for the copper to stick to. And one more trip to the rinse tank neutralizes the acid. After the rinse, we go to a cyanide copper deposit. But don't think that just because there's cyanide in there, it's dangerous. There's a small amount of cyanide and it's a very high pH level, making it safe for the technicians. Now, the crazy Frankenstein science fiction bubbles mean that there's copper being deposited. And I think of everything like a body shop. This step is the primer on your metal that gives a solid foundation for the filler. And by the way, the bubbles, that's hydrogen gas forming in the solution. Now you can see the wires that hold the parts up. Well, they're electroplated too. But these wires don't just serve the single purpose of spacing out the parts and holding them where they need to be. They also help complete the electrical circuit that's necessary for electroplating.
Finally, this 2-hour-long bath of acid copper plates a thick layer onto the metal. This new copper is used as a restoration tool. It allows the parts to be buffed and polished, removing any imperfections in the surface, creating a foundation for a perfect chrome finish. But this is where our process ends, making the finish that we will allow to weather and age to fit the character of our project Class 6.
Ah, nice. That looks killer. Oh, one final rinse. We'll be done. All right, well, there you go. We've got a beautiful, unique, and custom grill for our 49 Chevy. While you guys can't come down here and become part of the process like we did, well, you can certainly send your parts in and have them copper plated. And remember this, it costs about 1/3 of what it would run you to have these same exact parts chrome plated. Man, that looks awesome.
Up next, Class 6 goes from this to this. Stick around.
Hey, welcome back to Trucks. Well, it's great to see that Advanced Plating has survived the flood and they're back better than ever. And it's no secret, we've shown you before, those guys are capable of the finest chrome plating in the world, but they're also pretty darn creative. Check out our grill. This is fully assembled and man, it looks cool. And because of the fact that all they do is plate this and ship it, they don't spend the time surfacing and polishing, well, it cuts the cost into about 1/3 of typical chrome plating. And just the short amount of time that we've had it, it's already started to change color and oxidize into these cool different patterns. If we leave this alone, it's gonna age way beyond its years. It's gonna give us this very cool effect. But you can polish it to a high gloss, lock the gloss in with a clear coat, and let it be bright polished copper. Now these two panels are original to the truck. And you can see if you look a little closer that some of the scratches and chips and dings, well, they left them in. And all this is gonna do is add to the character of the vehicle. So if you're doing a patina truck like we are, this is perfect. If you're doing a rat rod, it's an alternative. Or if you're doing a high-end custom and you want a really cool alternative look to chrome plating, you might want to check out Advanced Plating. Get them to do you some copper. Let's get this stuff on the truck. Now, if you've ever worked on a vehicle that's 50+ years old, well, you know that the fasteners are usually fine thread and they're usually flat head. Both of those mean a recipe for disaster. Fortunately for us, this truck had been kind of restored before, so all the fasteners came loose with just a little bit of persuasion. Now, the filler panel goes behind the bumper arms, of course, followed by the bumper that mounts onto the front of the bumper arms. Heck, they even copper-plated the carriage bolts that hold it in place. And we're just mocking this stuff up, so we're not worried too much about a proper fit and finish. We just want to see what it looked like.
Now this shiny and polished copper grill may look a little over the top for our 49 Chevy with the patina paint job. But park this thing outside for a few months and it'll transform and look like the Statue of Liberty or an old copper roof. Then it'll blend in a little bit more closely with the overall character of this old pickup.